tasting.
And I think, you know, as you well know, if you're going to do something, you've got to really throw yourself completely into it. And so once you do that, then I decided, yeah, I've got to. It's about control, isn't it? I wanted to have more control, and I saw that it was something that I could be successful within, but also other people could be as well. Because I know this is something that's close to you as well. You know, you could sell wine to anybody, and you could sell a lot of wine to a lot of people, and you couldn't really, you know, in another universe, you might not care about what they think about it. You could still do very, very well out of it.
Sure.
I could do very well recommending investment caliber wine. Also, I could conceive it to be, and it might not be. But what's the point? Where's the longevity? You need to have one eye on, you know, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and you know, we wouldn't work as a business if that wasn't the case.
I think it's massively fascinating. Has it brought you into tasting more and more fine wine?
Yeah, well, you know,
that's a perk, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to do it, and we have a lot of tastings ourselves back in London, and we invite our clients to come and meet each other because that's how, you know, they get to a sense of ways of collecting and levels of collecting. And you know, you've got the guy there who's got the one case of Aubryon 98, which he purchased for maybe £2,500, and you've got a guy who's got, you know, considerably more than that.
Sure.
So so yeah, there's a lot to be said for bringing those people together.
That community is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and wine, of course, that's what it's all about.
No question. So let's get into the wine, since that's what it's all about. The La Peau d'Or Corton Clos de Riz 2006, 85 bones, 93 points, Alan Meadows, the Berghound. If you don't know who the Berghound is and you like Burgundy, you're making a massive mistake. Alan is... talk about somebody who will probably have an impact. If I had to roll the dice and bet on somebody impacting the market, I believe that Mr. Meadows will impact the Burgundy market over the next 5 to 15 to 20 years quite a bit. And considering that I believe Burgundy will continue to gain momentum as a collector's item, I'm sure you've seen a lot of that.
Yeah, of course, you know, but it's considered very much an expert's market.
Oh, it is the market.
Expert collector's market.
It's the market.
Yeah.
This is something I'm very excited about trying. 06 is very solid vintage. This wine is definitely too young, but at 85 bones, a very attractive price point for a very attractive producer. That, you know, they make some of the more interesting wines in the world. So let's give it a sniffy sniff. What is your experience with Pinot Noir and Burgundy? Are you a fan or anti-fan?
I'm not an anti-fan. I know it's getting fashionable to be an anti-fan.
Yeah, it really is. So. Big ass glass, which is exciting. On the nose, you get a really ripe cherry component, very dark, kind of black cherry flavor. You don't get the stinky-fied. You don't get the barnyard that a lot of people expect. But when you get to the Corton, you get this kind of flavor profile. You get more subtle fruit a lot of times. It's a very young and vibrant vintage. There's a little floral component as well that I like quite a bit, a little like a red flower thing. Let's give it a whirl. What do you think about this wine?
Yeah, I mean, as a
don't remember, I could care less where you go.
No,
with this.
I appreciate that. You know,
and you've been very upfront the whole time. So yeah, just I mean, rail it or love it.
No, I do like it. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not going to.
Is it too bitter on the back end for you?
No, I think it's not. I think, as you say, it probably is slightly young.
It's more than slightly young.
Yeah. So I'm not overcome. I'm not overcome either way. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm someone. I think you talk about it in a chapter of your book. You talk about all of the people who have considered themselves eventually really expert in tasting wine. They all, at one stage in their life, still consider themselves to be, I'm not sure I can do this, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm probably there still.
Yeah, I respect that. You know? I mean, how long have you been doing this?
Well, tasting wine in this way, 5-6 years, something like that, you know, at a decent level. And I still think, you know, there's a lot I have to learn about tasting wine.
Well, we all do. I mean, all the way up to the, you know, I can promise you right now, we can talk about a category of wine, whether it's Greek white wines or subtle, obscure varietals from Italy or Portugal, that even the greats from, you know, Jancis and Robert Parker are still not in a place where they're comfortable because it's not what they consume often. I can imagine for you, you know, clarets is something you're more comfortable with than, let's say, Tokai Friulano.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
there's varietals you have never even probably had yet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so,
I mean, ironically, you know, there's a lot of claret and there's a lot of that are around that we do have at our tastings. But personally, I'm a big fan of the fruit-forward Shirazes coming from Barossa Valley.
Yeah,
I hear you. It's
no, listen, it's funny. My palate's moving back towards bigger fruit as well. Let me break this down for them. I know we're having fun. Really bitter on the back end. You get some of that green stem kind of thing going on, so it's a little disjointed. It's extremely young, but you can't deny the power. It's kind of like the 11-year-old at 6'1" that plays in a Little League World Series, or you can't deny it's going somewhere. Melody Udan. I don't know if you caught this whole phenomenon. The little spunky, 17-year-old from Georgia who caused a lot of ruckus at the U.S. Open. She got her butt beaten the other night, but you clearly know she's on her way to win championships because she's got a killer instinct. This wine, though awkward, and can occasionally hit the 300-foot home run, even though it's 11 years old, is going to strike out a lot. It's just too young. It's disjointed. It's even showing more youth and more awkwardness and tightness than I even expected. I just recently did a bunch of 06s that kind of were showing fairly well. This hasn't been open long enough, and nor has it been decanted, so we're not giving it a fair shot. But the elements are in place here. The fruit is very pure and focused. The structure on the mid palate is shocking. That transition fruit from the beginning up front, kind of black cherry that I taste, that then goes into that kind of green floral component, is seamless even at this point, and that's very impressive for a wine like this. It's got clearly 12, 15, 18 years of cellar ability to it, and I think it shows a lot of interesting potential. Let me give it one more shot. There's definitely kind of almost a slight cocoa component. I also get a little bit of like on the back end now a sun-dried tomato component a little bit.
I love how you do that. It's something that I experience at tastings a lot, where someone says something and someone comes up with an idea, and I go,
Do you think that's power? Do you think it's power of persuasion, or do you think it's just kind of like it's there? I don't know. For me, it's so obvious what I'm tasting.
And your experience of tasting is huge, and we've all read about the extent to which you've gone to do that. Pretty extreme again. But
I really wish those days were still around. I was tasting like 70, 80 wines a day.
Rocks and
all that stuff. But then when I was like 21 to actually it really started happening 21 to 26.
Yeah.
I was in a period of time there. I was tasting a lot of wine.
Developing this business and
sure,
doing all of that.
I wanted to really understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. Great wine. I would score it 91 points here, but I'm going to score this wine 91 question mark. Sorry, SS. I think it's a wine that I'd love to see where it develops going forward, and just really one of the most tight, almost non-breakdownable wines, if that makes any sense, which it doesn't. Just can't really get there yet. The shield is too powerful. It's kind of like a Star Wars reference, the Death Star. There's only a little opening that Luke was able to get through. That's kind of what's going on here. But a very profound wine, and definitely when you talk about collectors, Le Poix is definitely a producer that a lot of people get excited about.
Maybe as this wine ages, the tractor beam will go down.
Yes, I think you're right. Thank you so much for being on the show.
No problem at all.
Is there anything you want to leave the nation with? Any thoughts?
Well, I was actually having a quick chat with Mott before you came in about...
Well, I know he's a superstar.
I know, I'm starting to realise that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we were talking about England and about famous British exports, and of course, the Beatles is one of the most famous ones. Liverpool's very close to my heart because it's the football, soccer team that I follow. And of course, they've just released the new remastered Beatles albums, all of them.
I know.
In stereos.
Amazing.
So if
the Spice Girls,
yes,
would be another
huge export.
Huge export.
Okay, well, I'll expand the question slightly then. If you were to choose a Beatle to be a wine, which is John, which is George, which is Paul, which is Ringo?
This is a phenomenal. So you want them in the comments section to list them and then say which wine
and
it is.
why? Yeah, maybe John's a revolutionary wine. Maybe he's, who knows? You decide.
One of the better questions, Adrian.
Gary, thank you
so much. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
You, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world.